Let's get it poppin'. The popcorn is poppin', my nigga. Oh, shit. What is up, all zero of my audience? I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday evening. Hopefully you work today. You're not one of these low-life parasitic mosquitoes that sits around all day on disability smoking pot. And you actually went to fucking work and did something for the world today. I sure fucking hope so. Okay. No point in dilly-dallying, although I'm gonna do it anyway. I was almost late because I made myself some chicken nuggets. And I had to scramble through eating them. You know, I didn't have any ketchup. Let me adjust this mic. That's a bit much. Pardon the technical difficulties. Let me get these levels set. Okay. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I ran out of ketchup. So I had to I had to fucking eat the things with Catalina dressing. It's actually pretty good. You should try it one time. It's like ketchup, but a little sweeter. And then I got tired of it, so the last two chicken nuggets, I put some Dijon mustard on there. And I'm the type of savage fucking troglodyte. If I'm eating something where I got a dip sauce, I will run my finger along the plate and get all the leftover sauce and yep. I think we're all that person inside, even if some of us really, really reject it because we're not children or savages. Everybody wants to do that. I just allow myself the pleasure of doing so. But should I? I mean, should we ever overly allow ourselves pleasures like that? Is that orienting towards Christ? I think there's some truth in asceticism. Maybe not like the monastics do it. Maybe not like some of these extreme, are they Hindu? Are they Shaolin, Taoist, whatever? I don't know. I think we've all seen the picture of the guy that had that metal grate welded around his neck so he couldn't even lay down to sleep. I think that's a bit much. My hat's off to him, however. I mean, anyone that can willingly put themselves through such denial of anything good, anything pleasurable. But I think it's something we should all kind of incorporate into our lives a little bit. Temperance. As in, don't get balls to the wall drunk every night. Have a few drinks, yes. I know me, if I let myself go unchecked, I wouldn't even be able to get up for work in the morning because I'd be downing most of a fucking fifth every night. Or a 12-pack every night. I say as I sip my vodka. Now, let's get into it. Okay, couple things on my little roster tonight. My itinerary. I figured out the word I was using yesterday. I couldn't think of it. Rubric. We all heard that word in school. I think it's like framework, which is another word I'm going to be using a lot tonight. Okay, let's pull up these fucking things. I want to start out with the recent release of the Jesus Christ Superstar Apparently something by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, I've never heard of this guy, so I'm gonna do a little Googler. English composer. He looks like a rainbow. He looks like a gagagit. He has composed 21 musicals, a song cycle, a set of variations, 2 film scores, and a Latin Requiem Mass. Something tells me that's not Mass like it should be. There's my cat scraping her fucking bowl clean. Let's see, was he... Did he pack the fudge? Did he have a little too much nuts in that fruit cake? I'm not seeing anything here. Let's go to personal. No, apparently he was straight. Goes to show you can't prejudge. Or can you? I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? So, he made this Jesus Christ Superstar thing. Now, I've heard of it. I've definitely heard it growing up. I'm not into musicals or Broadway tap dancey. Yeah, not really my scene. So let's just start reading. This is from CBN.com, and that's not the CBN that some of my listeners may think of. No, that's the one run by a pedophile. We're talking about Christian Broadcasting Network. Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar has always drawn criticism for its blasphemous interpretation of Scripture. But this latest iteration, a 3-night performance with quote-unquote wicked, yeah, I'll say, star Cynthia Erivo, a black lesbian, portraying Jesus, has, according to some, crossed into the realm of the demonic. I would say personally that anything portraying Jesus anyway would be demonic. Maybe even fucking Mel Gibson's movie, whatever it was, or Passion of the Christ, or any of those so-called Christian Hollywood productions. You don't know. You just don't know. You can't turn the Bible into a movie. Because it's always going to be interpreted. It's always going to be twisted by the director, by the writer. And you can see that on full display here. Now, to anyone who wants to run from the stream now saying, oh, is this going to be like all about religion? No. There's other topics. I just thought I'd start with this. Honestly, because it was the first tab I had open on my computer. Cynthia Erivo, a 38-year-old woman, identifies as a queer bisexual and is a strong advocate of mental illness, non-binary identities, despite claiming to be Catholic. Well, that's Catholicism for you. It is quickly falling short of the grace. It is quickly, swiftly missing the mark more and more as time goes on. Now, I did watch a clip of this earlier, and unfortunately, due to the limitations of my system, I cannot play it for you. I can't bring you along and point things out. But it's a black woman on a cross, or not really on a cross. Her arms were on beams, and she had the crown of thorns, all that. It is demonic. It is wrong. It is blasphemous, absolutely. But, hey, Christians, real Christians, why do you care? They did this shit during the Olympics last year, doing the Last Supper portrayal. I don't even remember, because it just came and went out of my mind. I could care less what the world does according to Jesus. We already know the world is of Satan. It says it in the Bible. This world is the devil's playground. And there are going to be wolves in sheep's clothing, as in Cynthia Erivo claiming to be a Catholic. Well, any real Catholic would not do what she did. Any real Catholic seeing that would turn away from it and say, this is wrong, this is evil. I want no part in this. And the implications of such a thing, it's like the most recent example again, like I said, the Olympics. And I remember when that happened, and there were so many Christians. The internet was set ablaze. And it's a ritual. What they're doing is a ritual. And my point is, by getting involved in it, your outrage, you're playing a part in that ritual too. They want you to get upset. They want you to get mad. You can't get mad. Don't have anger. One thing that the Black and Slow guy says, that you can't fucking have anger. It's the truth. Because it is a method of controlling you. It is a method of you playing right into it. Every Christian that saw this and pitched a fit on the internet is playing into their ritual. You're giving the demons what they want. Now, when I saw it, I said, wow, that's fucked up. I expect nothing less of the world. You should not care one way or the other. The most devout Christian should just see it for what it is, admit that it's wrong, maybe point it out to others, hey, that's wrong, but don't go blasting it and you're demonic, you're a demon, I will not tolerate the forces of evil. Yeah, just calm down, man. Relax. Let the world do what it's gonna do. How does what they're doing, how does what Cynthia Erivo did on that stage affect you and your relationship with Christ and your salvation? It doesn't. It doesn't. Worry about what you got going on. I guess that's all I have to say on that. Unless I want to look more into this article, but I really don't. I really don't. Let's just say, okay. Christians probably want a historical figure, a male historical figure, their literal Messiah. They want him to be portrayed by a male, someone who at least has the same gender as him. Maybe some Christians do, but I don't care who portrays Jesus. That's between them and Jesus. That has nothing to do with me. I'm worried about myself. As should you all. Stop getting upset. It's a sign of weakness. Don't be so emotionally fragile that if someone blasphemes, if someone walks in to wherever you are, throws the Bible on the ground, throws a crucifix on the ground and whips their fucking cock out and pisses on it, there are Christians who would love to walk up and just sock that guy in the face. Why? That's not your problem. It's not your salvation. Just say, no, that's Yep. That's the world. That's human nature. Oh well. But that brings me to why? Why are these Christians, mostly Western Christians, I would imagine that it's more of an American or Western European thing. Why are they so sensitive? Why do they care so much? Why do they dig into this emotional state? What is it with Protestantism and emotion that go hand in hand? Not necessarily just emotion. I would say it's an outward display of emotion. You know, I have a good friend of mine. 15 years we were friends. The other night, about a week ago, I'd say, I was on the phone with him and we were discussing theology. Now, theology, even between Christians, can be a bit of a hot topic. Tempers can flare. I'm sure in some circles, fists have been thrown. My mind goes back to that flat Earth preacher that went to another preacher's church and they had like a flat Earth versus round Earth debate. And by the end of it, the round Earth preacher was, "Get out of my church, you demon! Get out of my church, you Bible denier!" And the whole crowd was going wild. It's like, what is this? Is this a fucking Broadway show? The church is no place for that. It's no place for your sensitivity. It's no place for your emotional outbursts. It's no place for your running around, speaking in tongues, the pastor running up to you and blowing on you and you pretending that you're going to fall over. There's no place for that in the church. That's not what it's about. But back to my friend. We were having a discussion. He was raised Southern Baptist. He went through a period of atheism and even anti-theism. And then started coming back around. Now he has a Jehovah's Witness. Funnily enough, I've talked to the guy. He was a Romanian Orthodox Christian that came to the States and became a Jehovah's Witness, which blows my mind. That he talks to that guy every week. So that guy is kind of leading him back into the faith. Now, we were having a discussion. I happen to believe that Christ is God, incarnate. He thinks Christ is just the Son of God, the classic Trinitarian Unitarian debate. Okay. He ended up not only hanging up on me during that call, but blocking me, my phone number, and on the app I talked to, Discord or something. 15-year friendship. Gone. Over a minute yet pretty important aspect of the Christian faith. The Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church split up over less because they both believe Christ is God, but there's ecumenical and little differences here and there in the theology that caused them to be schismatic. It just goes to show. The Orthodox and Catholic Church have an ideological, theological framework that they share. They have a lot more in common with each other than they do with the rest of the world, the pagans, the Muslims, the Jews, etc. Yet they're fighting. Yet they're not in communion with one another. And now me and my best friend are no longer in communion with one another. Because he's sensitive about it. He can't just have the conversation. He has to get mad. He has to take it all to heart. He has to say, "You believe Jesus is God? You're Satan. Be gone. Get behind me, Satan." Okay, whatever. I don't care. I don't need friends. Anyone can come in or out of my life at any time. I'm okay. I'm just fine. As should you be. And I've learned over time that over years of trying to quote unquote evangelize people or even just engage in a discussion, whether it's along the lines of religion or politics or philosophy, it is absolutely pointless to do so, no matter who it is. Your wife, your dad, your mom, your brother, your kids, anyone that is immediately close to you, don't even bother if you don't share some basic framework of ideology. It's a waste of time. You're not going to get through to them, and they're not going to get through to you. So unless you enjoy just conflicting back and forth and then yelling at each other, if you want to take it to that point just to be a troll, well, I guess do that. But if you're really trying to have a meaningful conversation and exchange ideas and maybe change someone's heart or mind, just give up. Don't waste your time. I've done it with my father. I've done it with friends of mine. And it never ends well. It ended with one of my best and only friendships ending due to the sensitivity of Christians in the West or the sensitivity of atheists, fake people. Not to call my dad a fake person. Not to call anyone else that I've had this conversation with that has ended negatively a fake person. But they kind of are. When it really comes down to it. If you are incapable of exchanging ideas, and you tell someone, "Oh, I love you," this or that, or in the case of my friend, "Oh, we're best friends, there's nothing that's like, no one could come in and talk shit on you and I'm gonna believe them and turn on." No, they didn't have to. A simple disagreement about minutiae in a faith that we both share, we both believe in God, ended a friendship. It's ridiculous when you think about it. Like, wow, did that really happen? Well, yeah, it did. I don't care. So, what's next? That's enough about religion for now. Oh, right. Um, show notes here. MAGA! MIGA! Make Israel great again. Make America great again? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Does Trump put America first, or does he put Israel first, like his people tell him to? Did he play the best psyop ever on a large base of voters and really get them to think, "Oh, he loves America, he loves us, he's gonna do right by us"? Or is it all for Israel? That's, I guess, a matter of discussion. It's a matter of interpretation. Or is it a matter of fact? What are facts these days? Can anything be objectively proven? No. Where do you get your facts? The news? Secondary sources? Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall in the Oval Office? Well, I wouldn't. I could care less. Politics for me has just become like a playful, entertaining topic. I don't take it seriously. I could care less. And you shouldn't either. Because, like I said yesterday, there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't matter how much you vote. It doesn't matter how many useless protesters gather on the streets. It's not going to change anything. Not in any meaningful way. Which is what gets me about these MAGA people. They will defend Trump to the death. I work in an industry that heavily relies on aluminum and stainless steel. And I know firsthand that we are losing business because of his tariffs on aluminum and stainless steel. Which is why, assuming why I haven't gotten my raise yet. Some people say, oh, it's going to help the economy. And then others say, oh, no, it's going to destroy the economy. And I'm sure that in some ways it will do both. But I can say from experience, hey, the company I work for is losing money. In a sense, I'm losing money because of it. But you talk to a MAGA cultist, yes, it is a cult. What are you going to get? Oh, these tariffs are going to make America great again. Our economy is going to boom better than it did in the 1930s. Bringing back American industry, except it's not. In my opinion, he did it backwards. We need to build our industry up first so we can be self-reliant to an extent, to a large extent, and then we put the tariffs. But we're not building our industry up. Not by any real measures. We're not. We're just putting insane tariffs on the rest of the world. And hopefully more countries come to their senses and do some trade agreements because, you know, there are things I like that are imported from various countries. And I don't want to have to spend more of my hard-earned fucking money, which is already being stretched, because some fucking guy in the White House that half the country worships can't think 2 steps ahead. Yeah, 5D chess, like all the QAnon says. How does that play out as far as the economy goes? Because I don't see that happening. Still better than the monkey I mean, Kamala. Who said that? Alright, on to... We're closing up here. Apparently I've been live 40 minutes. I'd say that's more like 30 due to my intro. I probably got another 15 minutes in me. Oh, I forgot to pull that story up. So I'll do this one first. Well, no, I think I just jumped way off the Fort Stewart thing. Fort Stewart, Georgia. Surely you've heard about it. A sergeant by the name of... Hey guys, guess the race. Cornelius. Quornelius. Pro tip. He ain't white. Sergeant Cornelius Cementrio Radford opened fire, killing, or not killing, shooting. Let's see here. This is a newer, so it doesn't have the actual details. I think it was 5. I think 5 people were shot in total. So he got into a dispute with one of his fellow servicemen. I should have really pulled up more on this. Who got shot? Was it a subordinate? Because that would be typical. Typical behavior. Yeah. So he got into a dispute with another soldier on base, and the next day, I guess, was following him around, pulled out his so-called service weapon, and shot him, and then opened fire on others. And another soldier, decisive action by Sergeant Aaron Turner and his fellow soldiers quickly brought the suspect? No, how about murderer? Attempted murderer? How about scumbag? How about never should have been enlisted? Sergeant Cornelius Cementrio Radford. They got some interesting names. They're funny spellings. Under control and helped get victims to the hospital in time to save their lives. One of the soldiers tackled the person. Now, that's just it. My hat's off to that guy, because if it was me, apparently he was unarmed. The guy that tackled Cornelius. If I was armed in that situation and I saw what was going on, I wouldn't have tackled him. I would have pulled out my weapon and put a stop to it real quick. Maybe I would have been discharged for it. Maybe I would have been hailed as a hero. But I know that in that moment, chances are that's what I would have done. So hats off to him. Running at, charging and tackling a guy that is committing an active shooting. Talk about big balls. Which goes to the next story, which I forgot to pull up here. Big balls. Big balls. Now, this guy's got some balls. 19-year-old. What was his name? Is it going to load? Edward Korestein, a software engineer, hired by Elon Musk to work for the Department of Government Efficiency. He was going to his car one day on... Can you give me a date, you fucks? No, so I just have to say sometime in the last week. Due to the bad reporting of TheHill.com, a extremist, leftist, liberal, communist TheHill.com. So there was a group of teenagers attempting to carjack a woman. He saw it happening and moved in to stop it, as anyone with big balls and an ounce of fucking conviction and courage would do. The group of teens instead beat him. Instead of running away and realizing, oh shit, here comes... No, 15-year-olds. 15-year-olds! You know what I was doing when I was 15? I was out pushing trash cans over and smoking pot. I wasn't out carjacking people. I wasn't out committing felonies. But this is DC we're talking about. And the crime wave in DC is very real, despite what your liberal news media wants to tell you. According to Elon Musk posting on X, a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in DC. A DOGE team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her, as in she ran for the hills and left him to take the beating. What a great woman she is, huh? Hey, guys and gals, this is why you carry guns. For situations like this, I don't care if they're 15. I don't care if they're 12. If they're doing shit like this and you need to defend yourself, put one in them. Is that very Christian of me? I don't know. Hey, shoot him in the leg if you got the kind of aim to do that. This ain't the movies, so you probably don't. Center mass is best mass. So then Trump is federalizing DC, and I say it's about fucking time. It really is. Now, why did that happen? Why are these kids out there doing that? Some would say, oh, they weren't raised right. Well, that's a given. I mean, just look at the color of their... I mean, just look at how much money their parents have. Of course they weren't raised right. It's the same reason that the sergeant in Fort Stewart, Mr. Cornelius, what the fuck, committed that shooting that he did. And that reason is, tying back to what I said at the beginning of this stream, anger. You think anger's good? This is what it leads to. JLP is right about anger, if he's right about anything. And he's not right about everything. I wouldn't even give him 50%. Maybe 50 to be generous. But he is right about anger. Because anger causes people to commit acts of violence when there's no reason to. Anger is why you have in all the inner cities, quote-unquote teens, youths, committing violent crimes on quote-unquote innocent, mostly white, I didn't say that, mostly adults, but also other youths. I was a kid, I had a gun pointed at me, they robbed my weed. They pointed a fucking gun at me in a mostly white retirement town. Oh, every time I try to say that word. 3 youths of a certain pigmentation surrounded me. One pulled a gun out, and I had to give him a 1/4 ounce of weed. I don't smoke anymore. Just as a side note, I do not smoke the pot anymore. So this isn't just only in DC, or only in Detroit, or only in Gary, Indiana, or only in Oakland, California, or only in New York City, or only in Newark, New Jersey. This is all over. That mind virus of anger and also hip-hop music contributing to that is spreading all over the world. Not just the country, the whole fucking world. But you're always gonna have people, oh, it's not the music, it's not their race, it's not the way they were raised, it's poverty. They're doing it because they're poor. You know what? I was homeless for 3 years. I never robbed anybody. There were plenty of times where I could have went and robbed someone. There were times I could have broken into houses because I knew exactly how and I knew where they kept their shit. I never did any of that. It is a spiritual issue. It is not an issue of finance. It's not an issue of how your parents were. That does play into it, the parents part. The finance doesn't. It's anger. It is demonic possession. That's why these youths are out doing this shit all over the fucking world. A bit of a tangent. I still got two more things here. So I will keep them short, maybe wrap them into another future stream. I was going to touch on white nationalism and its follies, where it excels, where it falls short, and tying that into a bigger picture. In fact, I won't even get into that now. That's going to be for a future stream because that's a whole rant, a whole conversation in itself. And I've already been going for 40 minutes? Yeah, 40 minutes. Alright, 50 minutes. 53. Alright. I hope you enjoyed the dragnet show. I tossed the net into the water and I dragged it back to see what it caught, or rather got caught on. Some may say, if they listen to this stream, your net got caught on jagged rocks and used condoms. And they may be right. Hey, I'm not the type to never admit when I'm wrong. I may have a bit of an ego on me, or at least act as though I do. But if I'm wrong, I'll say, hey, I'm wrong. How can one be oriented towards Christ, towards the truth, and not admit that what they're saying or thinking is not aligned with that truth? Well, the answer is you can't. You have to lose your ego in order to fully align yourself with truth. And it will be a work in progress for many over the span of their whole life. We can't all be monks, but we can all try. We can all try a little more, a lot more than we already do. And with that, I am signing off, and I will see you soon. Maybe tomorrow because it's a Friday. Maybe not next week. So I can come up with a couple more topics. Alright. Take care, everybody. Don't let the